A very good morning to all. So, shark finning, it's not fantastic. Well, what exactly is shark finning? Shark finning is basically cutting off a shark's fin while the shark is still alive and then discarding its body back into the ocean. Now, you see, shark meat takes up a lot of space and contains urea, which converts into ammonia once the shark has died. Now, sharks need their fins in order to keep swimming and not sinking to the bottom of the water column. Unlike bony fish, they do not have swim bladders, therefore they rely on the lift generated by their large pectoral fins. Sadly, over 100 million shark individuals are killed every year, and mostly for what reason? Well, shark fins are used as the principal ingredient in an Asian delicacy known as shark fin soup. Now, the demand for shark fin soup has skyrocketed in recent years due to increasing prosperity of China as well as other countries in the Far East. Now, shark fin soup easily costs up to $100 per bowl, and it is served at wedding celebrations by hosts who seek to impress their guests with their affluence. Now, I will never understand how anybody would find it impressive because the fins are tasteless. They are only used to provide the jelly-like consistency. And speaking of flavoring, it is chicken stock that's what's used for the flavoring, not the fins. And there are alternatives available to provide this texture that they so desperately need. However, and it will logically save a lot of money as well. However, it just doesn't exude the same prestige as the original dish. Therefore, that's what's bothering me. Because people care more about prestige compared to the lives of sharks. I find that ridiculous. Whenever I talk about the environment to my friends or family members, they usually bring up the same things. Oh, global warming, pollution, haze. Yes, I do agree that these are critical issues that need to be addressed and to be worked on. And I'm happy to see that they are aware of these things. I actually know a few people who take action by reducing, reusing, and recycling. And I'm glad to see that they're doing it. They do it because they know how it affects them, how it affects their future and their health. But as for shark finning, they don't really see how exactly would sharks affect them. They think that, oh, sharks are large, majestic creatures who can kill a man in one bite. We don't have to care about them. They can take care of themselves. We have other problems to be dealing with right now. And so, to be honest, I believe that shark finning is a very underrated problem. And I myself never gave thought about it either until I joined Sembang. And right now, I'm glad I did. So, I'm sorry. Okay, I'm so sorry. Alright, so let's ask ourselves, why should we stop shark finning? Because aren't sharks harmful to us? Without them, our vacations would be a lot safer. Now, I'd like to direct your attention to this photo. We're now looking at the most dangerous creature in the world. And I say so because it is responsible for the deaths of over 100 million lives. Now, my question is, which creature exactly am I referring to? If you thought it was the great white shark, then I am not surprised because after all, thanks to the media, sharks have been portrayed as vicious, aggressive beasts, and they're not exactly the most cuddliest creatures in the ocean. However, it is interesting to note that only 10 people a year are killed by sharks, whereas 3 sharks are killed every second by humans. That means you're 16 times more likely to be hit by lightning than to be bitten by a shark. Now, knowing all of this is one thing, but if we still let fear and ignorance cloud our judgment and common sense, we probably won't live to see any of these sharks in as little as in the next 50 years. And I find that sad, because if we all just took a step back and saw the bigger picture and not just focus on their sharp, bloody teeth, we'd actually realize that sharks do anything but harm us. In fact, people need to recognize that sharks play a vital role in the ecosystem. They are apex predators who regulate other fish who regulate other fish populations to prevent overpopulation, and that also prevents diseases, thus producing healthier fish for us to eat. So right now, let's watch a video to help us appreciate how exactly do sharks do this.
What if there were no sharks? By and large, sharks are big fish, and one of Mother Nature's simplest rules is big fish eat smaller fish, which eat even smaller fish. And some of those smallest fish eat alligators. Well, if we kill those biggest fish, those sharks, then instead of coral reefs, we could have this. Ugh. Or take my friend Ray. Ray likes to eat scallops, and this shark likes to eat Ray and his friends. So no shark, and it's an all-you-can-eat scallop Ray buffet. That's exactly what happened off the coast of North Carolina when sharks were overfished, and now there's no more scallops there. That's bad for Ray, and bad for us, because I happen to love scallops. Without sharks, the sick and injured fish that they usually eat could throw schools into chaos. And it's not always about what sharks eat. Sometimes their mere presence can change the way that marine animals feed and behave. Most food webs are much more complicated than big fish eats little fish, which makes it hard to predict precisely what would happen in a shark-free ocean. But that doesn't mean it's a risk we should be willing to take.
Unfortunately, our growing demand for shark fin soup has only increased the slaughter of sharks to such a great extent that many shark species are already nearing extinction. Since 1972, many shark species have fallen by over 90%. Take the blacktip shark. Its numbers has reduced by over 93%, the tiger shark by 97%, and the bull shark, the dusky shark, and the scallop hammerhead all by 99%. And whether sharks are caught intentionally or unintentionally, that's known as bycatch, sharks are killed either way because it is much more easier and profitable to cut off their fins. Now, here's the catch. You see, sharks take 7 years to reach maturity, and they only raise around 1 or 2 pups per year. That means they rarely get the chance to recover their numbers after being fished. And elimination of sharks have disastrous effects further down the food chain, such as the collapse of fisheries, as well as deaths in coral reefs. In other words, without sharks, our oceans cannot survive. And without our oceans, we cannot survive. And that is especially true for us Malaysians, because seafood is one of our main protein sources. Now, but wouldn't it be disrespectful to Chinese culture? While shark fin soup does date back to China's Ming Dynasty, it was traditionally only eaten by a very privileged and affluent minority. So to say that it forms a part of traditional culture for the majority of Chinese would be disingenuous, as most Chinese could not afford this dish. It is only in the past few decades that the consumption has risen rapidly. Again, bear in mind that the shark fins used in shark fin soup come from all over the world. Therefore, this issue does not only involve Chinese or Asians. I can understand people's concerns about their culture dying out. However, I worry more about this. Why are they not more concerned regarding the conservation status of sharks? Because if you think about it, you need to maintain the number of sharks in order to continue the supply of shark fins for your dish. Now, speaking of food, are shark fins healthy for you? Well, are they really? Are you aware of the mercury-related health hazards associated with its consumption? That's right, mercury. Mercury is absorbed by fish and it accumulates in their bodies. So because sharks eat many fish during their lifetime, they store high quantities of mercury in their body. So then when we take sharks, we absorb a lifetime's accumulation of mercury into our bodies, which cannot be removed by cooking. Now, the medical risk associated with mercury consumption can be seen on the slides: damage to the developing brain, as well as the increased incidence of autism. Lastly, wouldn't it be bad for business? Would stopping shark finning be bad for business? Well, there are communities that depend on shark finning for their survival. They make a living out of it. So people insist that these communities would suffer great financial losses if there was a ban on shark finning. Now, this mentality forces poor fishermen to turn to illegal and inhumane ways for survival when there exists humane and sustainable options out there. In fact, numerous studies have shown that strictly on a financial level, sharks are far more valuable alive than dead. When choosing diving destinations, divers rank sharks as the #1 attraction, ranking even higher than healthy coral reefs or turtles. Separate studies conducted in the Bahamas, in Palau, and South Africa show that shark diving revenue significantly surpasses potential shark fishing revenue. Take, for example, in the Bahamas, a single live shark in a healthy habitat can earn around $200,000 in tourism revenue over its lifetime, whereas the meat from a harvested 68-kilogram shark can only earn around $50. That's not all. Take Fiji too, for example. A shark can earn around $30,000 for every year that it lives. Try comparing that to the one-time value of its fins. That is only $150. So now it does seem that we're the predators now. And training in the dive tourism industry is easy and very affordable. Whereas shark finning is already a bad business itself, as it primarily relies on already depleting resources, thus it is bound to fail sooner or later. And therefore, the dive tourism industry really does provide a sustainable and ethical form of income for the fishermen, and it will provide a sustainable form of income, and it will ensure the future of their families as well as the next generation. So right now it seems that the situation is beyond repair. We've already wiped out 90% of the sharks. But there is hope. In fact, due to awareness activities held by Shark Trust, Shark Savers, as well as Wild Aid, there have been significant changes in shark fisheries and trade. For example, in the Bahamas, all shark fishing, sale, and trade in shark products are banned. And a total of 16 countries have a shark fin trade ban, and 31 countries have a finning ban. That means sharks have to be landed with their fins either attached or not. Next, we have the My Fin, My Life campaign 2016. And the objectives are as follows on the slide. And what I love about this campaign is the Break the Soup Bowl Challenge. On the website, you can take the pledge to give up shark fin soup forever. And right now, I am glad to see that there are over 2,800 people who have already made the pledge. And I encourage all of you too to break the bowl. You'll be doing yourselves and the sharks a huge favor. Furthermore, WWF-Malaysia is engaging with hotels, restaurants, retailers, and suppliers to create a sustainable supply chain for seafood. And sharks are featured on the Red Avoid list of Sustainable Seafood Guide, and this is the messaging to be shared with seafood businesses so that they will commit to removing shark food products from their menus. What about us? Can we play a part too? Most definitely. In fact, this, first and foremost, and this is the most obvious, don't eat shark fin soup. Instead, help marine wildlife organizations through voluntary donations. Sign up for mailing lists and take part in campaigns. Writing one letter, sending one email, making one phone call may not seem much, but if several people do it, it can make an impact. The more of us there are, the more effectively we can send the message across. Lastly, we can use social media and to spread the word. We can use the hashtag MyFinMyLife, and this is a great way and to reel in supporters for the campaign. Now, I don't know about you, but as far as I'm concerned, I want sharks in the ocean, not in my soup. What about you? Let's all lend a hand or a fin to our friends down in the deep blue waters. Thank you.